Welcome into the 140th episode of the Philly Blitz podcast. I'm your host, Pierre Baptiste. I'm joined by my co-host, Mr. Quell Owens. Another week, another nail-biting Eagles football game. Another complicated, very complicated Eagles win. Um, it wouldn't be an Eagles game without a lot of discussion, a lot of chatter. After a win, brother, how you doing?
Rubber lubber dub dub to those who celebrate. It is I, the one and only Mark Wilford Owens, and I don't know. I was having a conversation with good friend Brian Cameron earlier on from PSN, and he was kind of having a good conversation about just why this team just continues to stress you out, brother. According to Zach Berman, the Eagles have won 8 1 score games this season, the second most in the league behind the Broncos. They're 8-3 in those games. And I mean, there's the like I like to say, and we're gonna get into a lot of this quote real soon in this podcast. But like I like to say, glass half full, half empty. There's the half full part of it here, where during the Sirianni era, starting from 2021 up to this point, they've been really good in these games, like historically, outside of just his first year. His first year, they went 2-4. Ever since then, they've won at least 8 1-score games in each season. 8-1 in 2022, 8-3 in 2023, 8-2 in 2024, and 8-3 again this year. So there's room for hope. At the same time, you just sat there and put them in the same breath of a team like the Denver Broncos, who I don't know about you, but me, I mean, really good defense, elite level defense, Super Bowl caliber defense. Other side of the ball,
They don't got what we got on that side of the ball, brother. They don't.
I mean,
And
yeah, in terms of personnel, but they do got what we don't got on that side of the ball in terms of play calling.
it's true. That is true. And I think that's the most frustrating part about it is, and it's like we've talked about all season. The pieces are there. The personnel is there. It's just why is it so difficult to put it all together across 4 quarters of a football game? For the life of me, I do not understand it.
I
And
mean,
and and I get it. Like it's the month of December. New Year's Eve is tomorrow. 2 weeks ago, Jalen Hurts stood in the NovaCare complex and talked about how the real things are found in the month of December, January, February, right? Like, me and you talked about it last pod. It was gonna be a slobber knocker. This is a game, a heavyweight matchup. Like you're facing one of the best offenses in the league. You're on the road. It's raining. Everything like that. And they won. Anytime you can get a win like that, you take it. But you say it all the time. This is the month where you want to be playing your best football. And what we saw in the second half of that game, that was not the Eagles' best football at all.
yeah, man. And the worst part about it is I spent the better part of, let's call it 2 days at this point, telling myself that while I don't agree with it, there's that conservative approach that the team likes to take, and you guys know how I feel about it. I've been strong head all year long about how those are orders from the top. Nick Sirianni knows what he wants,
I
and he
mean,
does what he wants. But
not to cut you off, but like I was telling Parth in the chat, Sirianni literally put up a graphic of like the team's record when they win the turnover battle, when they lose the turnover battle. This is what he wants this offense to look like.
I don't necessarily see. Yes and no. I think just think about the conversation that we had about this Buffalo Bills offense during the preview pod, where I mean, like we said, it ain't pretty, but it's effective. They get into this. They know how to get themselves into the down and distance that they prefer. They do a really good job of dressing it up with certain personnel if and when they can have it. But I like to think in a perfect world, that's what we would want to look like. The problem is, again, like we've continued to scream all year long, the disconnect between play calling and execution Is it the chicken or is it the egg? We'll never know, apparently. But it just wasn't ideal for me. Like I was just saying it. I was thinking it was a whole message from the up top thing, and probably is. Coach speak is coach speak, and Kevin Patullo does a really good job of saying fluff, for lack of a
No,
better term.
I'll say it since you didn't want to say it. He says a whole lot of words that ultimately mean nothing. It's just a lot of word salad. Like he speaks a lot, and it's just like, brother, what are you talking about?
Sometimes to a fault, which I mean, again, we'll get to that in a few too. But listening to him, he got asked about this during his presser today, and it was kind of disappointing, depressing, any other D word that you could think of, but damned, if whatever we can say about how he feels about. He doesn't necessarily think it's them being conservative, just more so an execution thing. And I mean, kind of like I just said a second ago, chicken or the egg. But then he kind of gets into the whole. I believe the follow up statement was asking him about the run game and the continuation to run into heavy boxes.
Wait,
And
so are you referencing the play clock thing from Jeff McClain?
um, no, I was referencing the
Okay.
him. We were laughing about pre pod about him. They asked him about running the ball, and basically he insinuates that sometimes we just run the damn ball just because we want to run the damn ball. And it's like, brother, like I said to you before we got here, I get what he was trying to say, especially when you listen to everything around it. Where sometimes you give Jalen multiple calls in the huddle, and he has the opportunity to check in and out of plays from what he sees defensively, and sometimes we just what you see is what you get. Okay, I get you. But you can't sit here and say, yeah, we were going to run the ball regardless. Because you sound
Yeah,
like you're stuffing square pegs and round holes.
yeah, and this like I tweeted, the chief's job among all for coaches is to put your players in a position to succeed. You have to do things for a reason. There has to be a rhyme or reason. Like there has to be strategy around what you're calling. And when you say that, because of everything that we've seen this season and the way that this offense has operated, hell, we're just coming off a game where the offense had what 17 yards of offense in the second half. So
Bro,
when
I
you say
think they
things like
ran,
that,
what was it, 18 plays? 16 plays in the second half ran. Amazing.
they didn't complete a pass.
Amazing. You get 30 minutes of football and you somehow manage. And the funniest thing about it is the Eagles do a whole lot of nothing. They managed to do a whole lot of nothing, but hold on to the ball while doing so. Like they had one drive where it was run, throw deep and pray like the rest of them. But they managed to take a minute and 25 seconds off the clock doing that. And I'm like,
And it's like I
yes,
get it. I get it. Maybe it's a thing where you want to keep, like you talked about, the high powered, Buffalo offense off the field, and it's raining and you have a lead, but they just
try,
yeah,
try something,
they didn't do anything. They
anything.
didn't do
And it's
anything.
so frustrating because, like, again, like I said a second ago, I spent the better part of the last 2 days trying to digest what the hell I just watched, for lack of a better term. And initially, it really seemed to me, while they only managed to produce 13 points, they felt like that they seen enough, for lack of a better term. They felt like they were the better football team. They managed to put together drives. Should have wanted to put more points up, but they managed to put together drives on the offensive side of the ball early on. Defense looked phenomenal, and they just took their foot off the gas. They know, especially with how the weather looked. I mean, the rain was stopped and then start and stopped and then start. You're in a position where, I mean, hell, if the game will keep looking like this, we, like I say about the Eagles all the time, we comfortable playing a field position game with you, especially if we got a 13-point lead. The problem is the offense on the other side of the ball is really freaking good. And it's only what so long, especially in a game that's just 13-0.
Yep. And then the fact that this is a Buffalo team that have had multiple come from behind wins. Game before Sunday against who they played, Patriots. Was that the
Yeah,
Patriots or
I
the
think that was
Bengals game?
the Patriots game.
But yeah, like they've had multiple come from behind wins.
I think
So
I
you
seen that their
know,
point differential in the second half was like plus 104 or something like that.
yeah, yeah. So to shift into that conservative, way of operating, I don't understand it. And then the explanation, give me a sec. Uh Kevin Patullo, when asked about the offensive second half performance, quote, we're still going through the tape as we speak. But really, when you look at it, the amount of drives and starting positions, it was the first down thing again. We have 4 drives with inefficient plays. And it put us in 4 second and longs from there, and from there, 3 third and longs. And when that's happening, it's going to be very hard to move the ball. Brother, you're the offensive coordinator. It's week 17. Figure it out. There's excuses.
Yeah,
Figure it
it
out.
is. But again, I was listening to, gosh, who the hell was talking about this? I can't remember off the top of my head, but I was listening to someone basically talking through the game, and they mentioned the Monday Night Football game and how they tried to work. They tried to a more aggressive approach, and how it led to turnovers, and how it was a close game. And to be honest, despite Jalen Hurts and his 4 or 5 turnovers that night, they lost at the end of the game, mostly because Jalen turned the ball over to end the game. Like, they explained how Jalen understood that this was one of those games where you kind of just, if you don't turn the ball over, you got a high likelihood of winning. Even though it came down to the last second and a lollipop pass that probably could have been successful if he actually set his feet. But that's Josh Allen. He does it 9 out of 10 times, right? But just, I ultimately think they're more comfortable in those kind of, like, we talked a lot about this Eagles team last year, about how they like to drag you into deep waters, the boxing analogy. Let's get into the rounds 8 through 12, and let's see exactly, can you hang with us? And their whole ideology is, I think you're going to beat yourself before we beat ourselves. Now, this season that hasn't been quite, between the turnover games that they have, or the massive amounts of turnover, massive amounts of penalties that they have and things of that nature. They do things to set themselves behind the 8 ball. But typically when they get in these kind of mud bowl kind of games, they do a really good job of not being the ones shooting themselves in the foot. And it's just about waiting for somebody else to mess up. They know you're going to mess up. We just got to get you to play our game. And it's not pretty, man. But it kind of goes back to, like you said a second ago, what do you do if people complain about Nick Sirianni celebrating, walking through the tunnel because it was an ugly win? He doesn't care it was an ugly win because he keeps winning. His approach continues to work no matter what y'all think about it. And it's going to be so
And
hard
that's
to
the
get him off his pedal.
and that's the kind of, not confusing, but like the difficult thing about it, right? Like, I don't think it's a stretch to say most Eagles fans don't like this style of play.
Yeah.
It's some would call it cowardice, but like, it wins. They've been winning, and Jalen had the quote a couple weeks ago where it's like it only gets you, until it gets you in. It almost got them. It almost did.
Yeah. We this is like the what? We just sat here and called them 8-3 and 1 score games. This is like the 11th time it almost got them. They they live life on the edge. He lives life
But
on the edge.
it's not. I don't. That's the thing. I don't think that's a sustainable way to live, especially with the playoffs coming up. You can't operate like that. Not in the postseason.
But wow, for the most part, I agree with you. And that's just mostly because I would like to see a better product offensively. But just speaking realistically, why won't it? Can you really think about? There might be one team in the NFC where you like, look, you can try this against them. But can you really think about one team where you really think that we couldn't drag into deep waters in the NFC and it wouldn't work? And then you look at on the AFC side, outside of the Bills, it's a lot of inexperience, new blood. Hell, somebody got to make it, but I think they'll take their chances.
And I think that's kind of the saving grace with it, right? Like when this defense is playing how they played Sunday, it's gonna be difficult to beat this Eagles football team. Like as long as the offense gives you something, and I think that's the thing that most people are frustrated about. If they would have gave you something in the second half, I don't think everybody would be this wound up about it.
So, would you feel the same way if the roles were reversed? Like they didn't give you much of anything in the first half, but in the second half they figured it out. Would you still feel this stressed out about the offense?
No, no. I
Why?
think it's I think it's because the way they looked in the first half and how they showed they could move the ball,
Then they
and
just shut
then
it
it was
down.
just a complete shift in the second half where it's just like we can't get anything going. The offensive line is getting beat. Cam Jurgens is freaking turned around again for the second game in a row. Fred Johnson is on his backside with his legs up in the air, and it's just like, brother,
The film wasn't pretty offensive line wise, man. Clearly Cam Jurgens.
he's hurt. It's so obvious
Something's
he's
not
hurt.
right. Something's not right.
How did he make the Pro Bowl?
Because you and I voted for him.
I didn't vote for anybody, brother.
All you have to do is retweet the tweet.
I might have retweeted once, one or two
Okay, see,
tweets.
I'm pretty sure we voted for them. I voted for almost every player on the team because every time the team posted, I retweeted. They bagged me every time. Can't get away. And then I see he the only starter from the offense, and I'm like, that guy must not be much efficiency going on at the center position this year. But anyway, any more takeaways from the offensive side of the ball here?
I mean, just to give a little bit of kind of insight into it, I was kind of shocked they came out throwing the ball actually in the first half. Like that was not what I was expecting at all. It seemed like they were trying to do a lot. Like you saw a lot of under center play action, under center runs, a lot of empty. I think probably the biggest thing for me, Jalen, he was really decisive in the first half. Kind of like we saw, last week. He was really trying to fire the ball into the receivers. It was two plays in the second quarter. One, the first completion where he stepped up, kind of moved to his right and fired it between two defenders to AJ. Brady was on a call, and you could hear the excitement in his voice when he made that throw. And then there was another one where he pump faked and kind of fired over the middle to Devontae between the three defenders. And I'm like, oh, my boy in flow state, dog. My boy out there cooking. And then again, bro, like to see what happened in the second half, it's just like, bro, he firing, like he's on one. And we just know we're just gonna be conservative. We're not even gonna try anymore.
I mean, do you think the weather played an effect in this?
No,
And I
because
mean,
we saw
I'm
him
the
do
one
it in
who
the first
tweeted.
half.
Yeah, but the weather was pretty spotty. It started when the game started. It was horrific out there. Then by the time we got to late in the second quarter, it was pretty smooth sailing. And then third and the top of the fourth quarter. By the time the game ended, it was pretty dry out there. But third and the top of the fourth quarter,
But
another
wouldn't that?
monsoon.
Oh yeah, yeah. And
So
I
I
mean,
mean,
Patulo said like after they got the lead, once they came out in the second half, they wanted to lean on the run. It's just number one, you kept running into freaking loaded boxes, and then two, the O line just didn't execute.
yeah, but I think it's a. We talked about this in the pregame preview show, just about how these two teams would what would the changeup pitch be, for lack of a better term here. We talked about the numbers in terms of them in light boxes, the Eagles being first in the league in light boxes. And then, of course, the Bills, they ranking fourth in the league in light boxes heading into the game. They both tried to do a pretty decent job of changing it up. We'll talk about what the Eagles did defensively in a minute. But on the offensive side, the Bills, I was surprised for how many heavy boxes we seen from them because that's not really their MO. And I guess they heard the pod, they listened to the pod clearly. They heard people talking about them giving up 500-yard rushers on the season and four of them going over 140 yards. And in comes Saquon Barkley coming off back-to-back 120-yard performances. We can't let this happen. So I think they invested a lot of personnel into stopping the run. And they were comfortable with basically Jalen Hurts. Just Jalen Hurts beat me, especially when you see how they played in the second half. I can understand why they wanted to try to lean on the run game. Saquon in the first half, 11 attempts, 51 yards, longest 16, 4.6 yards per carry. He was having a successful day. But like you mentioned with Jalen, 13 of 20, 110 yards and a touchdown in the first half. The offense was kind of moving efficiently, but just like, and this is really, we'll talk about what our biggest concerns and things of that nature are heading into the playoffs, but just kind of a preview into one of mine. Like every Eagles game, the big thing is y'all guys come into the game with a great game plan. Like AJ says, great week of game planning, start the game well, and then second half comes and teams start to adjust. And I don't blame Jalen Hurts for struggling in the second half. I wouldn't even say he struggled. He just made the plays that was there because clearly nobody was open. He threw the ball away, and they only threw the ball 7 times. But the changes that Buffalo made defensively, they were fun. They played a bit more man coverage. We talked about that pregame of the Maxwell Harrison and Christian Barmore, not Barmore, Christian Benford on how often he match up with AJ. They did a pretty good job on them guys come second half. And the amount of man coverage they played, they started showing more pressure. They really changed it up. And I don't think the Eagles did a really good job of adjusting.
Has the offensive staff done a good job of adjusting at all this season?
That's what I just said, though. We'll talk about that anyway.
But that's why to me, like, when it's such a like stark contrast on the way that the offense operates on a week-to-week basis, and then you see Vic Fangio's unit and how the adjustments are constantly being made. It's a coaching thing, man.
We continue, and hopefully we've finally gotten past the point of comparing this year to 2023, but we've mentioned the 2023 year a lot when we've referenced this season. And one thing I remember saying, the one quote that I remembered fondly from my heart from 2023 is, we didn't have an adult in the room on either side of the ball, to be honest. And I mean, they tried to bring one in with Matt Patricia, but can't change schemes in the middle of the season. Are you listening, Nick? You can't change schemes in the middle of the season, brother. Anyway, they didn't have an adult in the room. Fast forward to 2025, and while there's arguably not an adult in the room on offense again, maybe
shouldn't your head coach be the adult in the room, though?
And I mean, there's a fair argument. There's a conversation to be had. He has been the adult in the room over the last few weeks. We hyped him up over the whole, when him and the whole Jalen had the whole interaction on the sideline of, yeah, you better call it a good play call. Clearly he's been more involved. Now, I also think, I mean, it's obvious.
He did say after the game, though, like the second half, he feels like he needs to be more involved.
Yeah, and I think that
do you think that was him throwing KP under the bus?
Nah, I don't think that was necessarily him. This is probably the closest thing we'll get to him throwing KP under the bus. But my big thing here is, like I just said a second ago, he was clearly more involved. Like he said, he was going to be more involved over the last couple of weeks. You can clearly see the differences, his imprint in the offense. But at the end of the day, while I don't think he'll sink with the ship, the ship is dragging him down. And Kevin Patullo is his investment. So in a perfect world, he wants Kevin Patullo to succeed. So I do think that he kind of grabbed a hold of the ship a little bit and then was like, all right, Kevin, come on, you can do this. And I mean, you got things like the Devonta Smith touchdown last week where Kevin Patullo was quick to come over to Devonta, like, yeah, because I wanted to get that one called for you. Like, you could see him slowly but surely trying to let go, and then it just kind of went awry to a point where I don't think he necessarily wanted to throw him under the bus, but this is basically him saying, look, if we want this thing to work, I might just have to be more hands-on offensively than I would like to be. And that's okay. I just wish that the guy that you picked kind of would get his job done if you're Nick Sirianni.
Yeah. And just to put a bow on it before we move to the defense, just some stats that I got from PHLY. But like I said, it's been a season-long thing with this offense. Over the course of this season, for the first half, the Philadelphia Eagles rank 10th in points, 9th in EPA per play, 18th in success rate. Second half, 26th in points, 25th in EPA per play, 27th in success rate. So again, when there's such a vast shift from the way the offenses operate in the first half to the second half, like that's a trend, and it's clearly a coaching thing. Clearly.
Definitely, man. And it's something they need to get adjusted fast because the playoffs are literally all about adjustments, man.
Yeah. But shifting gears here to the defense, the more positive side of things.
Big
Kind of like I
Zing.
said it's kind of like I said at the top of the pod, bro. Like, this is a statement game, man. Jordan Mailata talked about it after the game, but for local, national media, to act like the Eagles kind of had to come to Buffalo and match them, and they had to play up to Buffalo standards when they feel like, hey, we're the defending Super Bowl champions. We've made the playoffs 5 years in a row. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're back-to-back division champions. Like, I think they felt like it was a respect thing, right? And so, for them, this defense to be able to come in and, flat out dominate them up until the fourth quarter, it was special to see, bro. It was special to see.
I started off wanting to say, I don't think this was a statement game. If this was a statement game, what was Green Bay? And what was Detroit? And what was Kansas City, even though Kansas City's not in the playoffs? And all the other premier teams that they've played this year, and Vic Fangio has basically sent them to the gutter. Hell, even despite getting ran all over by Chicago, that Bears offense struggled when they couldn't run the ball. So he's kind of they've made an ordeal of doing this. But then I have to agree with you that it became a statement game when you watched that drive. I believe it was late in the second quarter, buddy. Every single time you heard pad hit pad, you could tell them boys wanted to play football. They was hit. Them boys was hitting. Them boys was hitting. They just like you could tell that game meant something clearly. And I mean, we talked about it leading up. I think when you this Bills offensive line has been really good this year. You have to give credit where credit is due. They've kind of earned that reputation. They dominate teams on the run game. I talked about how the Bills, they typically don't lose games. They had one loss on the season when James Cook had over 100 scrimmage yards. And when he doesn't have over 100 scrimmage yards, they don't win. I think their record was like 0-3 or 0-4. Well, whatever it was, you can add another loss to the column as James Cook had just 75 scrimmage yards on the day. They did a damn good job of limiting James Cook. That was the first order of business defensively.
But that had to be a key for them heading into this game. Like, of course it was, but like, again, when we talked about it in the lead up to the game, but when you look at how, I don't know what a respectable word is, but I'll say it, how #not good Buffalo's receivers are, what they don't have at the position, like, it really became a thing where you shut down James Cook, you can shut down this whole offense.
Yeah, man. And I mean, I don't want to change the conversation. Of course, we're going to remember where we are. But, brother, I don't understand how they think that they can compete in the AFC. I get it. No Lamar, no Mahomes. This has to be the year. I don't get how you think you can compete in the AFC with those receivers.
Yeah.
You play against Denver. You play against Houston. You play against the Chargers. They're going to sit in man coverage.
Mm-hmm.
And just say, I don't think these guys, you don't have the facilities for this big man.
And then when you have a quarterback in Josh Allen, who's no doubt talented, one of the most talented quarterbacks in the league, but
chill on my dog, man.
He just makes these brain dead plays, like the two plays, the fumble. I think it was. It is the two Wolves, but the fumble. I think it was it Jalen Phillips or Jalix Hunt, whichever one forced the fumble. It's like, brother, what are you doing? Throw the ball away, and then the other one where he ran to the left, then he turned around trying to run back to the right, and then he runs backward And
Brother,
he
he
lost
lost
like 31
21
yards.
yards. It was 21. He lost
Okay.
21 yards. They were obviously in field goal range. I was deeply concerned with how this drive would end. And then that happened, and I'm like, I couldn't even be an Eagles fan at that point. The Eagles fan in me wanted to cheer so bad, like, yeah, get him, blah, blah, blah. The football fan in me jumped out and immediately, like, what the hell did you just do? Do you practice that shot? What type of shot was that?
What type of
Like,
shot is that?
brother, what? Throw the
Hey,
ball away, man. It's not that hard. Just throw
you
the
said
damn ball away.
you said you couldn't cheer, brother. Brother,
Like, brother,
by that point, dog, I was at the bar. Liquor was flowing. I'm up screaming at the top of my lungs. I'm pretty sure you can hear it in my voice. I was screaming at the top of my lungs, bro.
brother, like Josh Allen, the Bills, we just like I just said, the offensive line has been respectable, over respectable this year. Probably one of the best units, if not the best unit in football. Over the last 2 games prior to this, the Bills offense had allowed 4 sacks in total. Josh Allen, they got sacked 4 times by the third quarter. Newsflash, a lot of those was his fault, not theirs. Like, just for some context here for folks, Josh Allen's average time to sack was about 6 seconds. It was like 5.8 something. Like, brother, throw the ball away. Save yourself. You can save yourself and the yardage if you just get rid of the ball.
He has that like Midwestern quarterback gene where it's like every play is touchdown or bust.
Gunslinger.
Yeah.
Wyoming. What do you expect,
Yeah.
man? What do you expect? Like, but just marvelous, marvelous, marvelous game plan by Vic Fangio. I think what stands out to me the most, I talked about how, like I said, the counterpunch thing and what would the Eagles do leading the league in light boxes? What would your counterpunch be? He didn't necessarily go away from it. He continued to give them light boxes, or what appeared to be light boxes. They stayed in too high. They showed a little rotation pre and post snap. But what stands out to me is the Eagles run cover three, hell, at about a middle of the pack rate on the season. This game, they were played 3 times the amount of cover three that they usually play. This was a Jim Schwartz game, not a Vic Fangio game. That I need that extra man in the box. They committed to wanting to stop the run. And part of this was because look at who they have on the outside. You can trust, like, let's be real. Josh Allen's 2 biggest plays of the day came on. Wow, how the hell did that just happen? I mean, Brandon Cooks gave you a huge middle finger. He clearly listened to the podcast and heard the trash that you were talking. But who the hell is Sheffers?
Tyrell
And
Shavers.
yeah, that guy. And how the hell did they call that a catch, but Smitty ain't catch the ball? Are you serious?
Come on, bro. And then the missed PI on AJ.
I'm not
Like
even
that was
mad at that
clear
no
as
more.
day. I
I'm not even
was.
mad.
I
They missed
am.
the same call last night, and I yelled at my TV watching that Rams Falcons game. Like, hey, you better not throw that flag. You didn't call that on AJ. So if y'all stay consistent, I'll stop complaining. And they didn't throw the flag because it was clear pass interference. So the broadcast, Joe Buck was like, wow, and they missed the clear pass interference there. I don't get it gets any more obvious than that. And I'm like, trust me, I've seen worse. Like, okay, but that's their thing this week, so we're gonna live with it.
But yeah, man. Like you said, the pass rush combined with Josh Allen being an idiot at times, but it was suffocating, bro. Like it's like we kind of characterize this Eagles defense as a boa constrictor. It was like every time Buffalo got anything going, the boa constrictor just tightened even more. I loved what I saw from Jalen Phillips, Zach Bond, and Jahad Campbell did a great job on James Cook, especially Campbell in coverage. Jalen Carter reintroduced himself, brother. It was amazing to have him back. Again, in the secondary, Marcus Epps led the team in tackles. He finished with 8. Cooper DeJean and Reed Blankenship both came down and laid the wood, bro. You
I know
you
you
alluded to
seen
it earlier.
Nah, it can't even be them laying the wood anymore, man. Did you see the video that they posted? So
Mm.
it started off with Cooper's. I mentioned it. I said a couple weeks back when we were talking about the whole DB celebrations and stuff like that. And I said, I think Cooper the Gene got the coldest celebration, the boxed double thumbs down. So apparently they've added to the double thumbs down. There's more to the story. And the exciting whites, they done got the whole defense in on it now. It's pretty hilarious. But they've said that they've added this to their handshake together now. When one of them does the double thumb, somebody comes right there and be like, milk, pumping the udder.
Oh, I saw when I was scrolling on Twitter, I saw something about milking a cow. That was what that
Yeah,
was in reference to.
milking the cow, exactly. Pumping the udder. And it's like everybody's doing it now. It's hilarious, brother.
Yeah, man. Like I said, bro, we talked about it, before the game on the preview pod on Thursday. But Buffalo's lack of talent at receiver, it really kind of opened up, the door for Vic Fangio to try and do a lot of different things. So it kind of left me with a question. I've posed this before, but do you think this year's defense is better than last year's?
I didn't initially. The acquisition of Jalen Phillips makes it a very interesting conversation. I honestly think it ultimately comes down to how you prefer a defense to be built. Last year, we talked a lot about the defense being built from back to front. We were a secondary-esque team. The communication was superb. You can watch tape all day long and see them pass off routes, and it was damn near no blown coverages ever. But then you watch this year's team, and I mean, don't get me wrong, the secondary is playing well right now. Especially, it took a while to get to this point. Had to shuffle a couple of players in and out to get it right, but they're playing well. But what the defense, the front seven has been able to do since the acquisition of Jalen Phillips, man, it makes it a close conversation because it unlocks a part of the offense. I mean, a part of the defense that they didn't have last year. I mean, don't get me wrong. For a team that had what, three primary pass rushers up into the Super Bowl, they did a pretty good job of getting to the quarterback. They on rushing the passer, but not to the level that they're doing now, man.
Yeah, they have game breakers now, like game breakers. But I think they can be. I think this playoff run is going to show us. But like on the surface, I mean, I really honestly feel like the only thing that's different is the numbers aren't there, right? Like as far as interceptions, turnovers, and then this unit doesn't really have like a voice or a face. Like last year, that was CJGJ. He was that, and now it's kind of a thing where it's like the whole one heartbeat, one sound, one band type of thing, where the entire unit kind of contributes.
You can make the argument it's probably either Jordan Davis or Kobe Dean when healthy. But I don't know, man. When you think
There's
about the
no,
Eagles
there's
defense,
no one, there's no one that's like as in your face as Chauncey was.
Brandon, but maybe I understand. Brandon's always been in your face, though. He's in
He
everybody's
just
face.
That's true. That's true.
It made me think about the video. Fletcher had to be like, "Hey, shut up, get ready." All right, my bad. Like bro, locked in, trash talking central.
Yeah, man. But I think we've touched on the game. Kind of just a couple of topics I wanted to touch on. What's your confidence level on a scale of 1 to 5 in the offense as we head into the playoffs? Right, like
2.5.
2.5.
Mm-hmm. Just
It's
teetering,
respectable.
just hanging there. What the dude say in the video? Nothing. Just chilling, hanging. That's me with the offense right now. To be honest, I felt like in 2023 it was blind faith. I went to that Tampa Bay game knowing what was probably going to happen,
Oh yeah,
but
I expected us to get thrashed that game. I felt it. I
I,
felt it in my bones.
brother, I was doing all the prep I was doing for the preview pod. Even did a little bit after the preview pod. And I'm just sitting here like, we can do it. We can do it. We can do it. It's okay. Best part of the prep for that game was them sitting here talking to me about Tristan and Zion McCullum. I'm like, yeah, something positive. There we go. But I don't look at this year as a blind faith. I look at it as a, can you get your head out your ass? I've seen you do it. I know you can do it. Can you do it for 60 minutes first and foremost? And if and when someone adjusts, like I just talked about with Vic and the Bills defense and the Eagles defense, what's your counterpunch, man? You got to have a counterpunch. Like I said, we're going to get into this quote. I've been the supporter, brother. I've been the high supporter of you, Kevin. I don't think there's been a bigger supporter on this podcast for you than me.
I mean, I started out as the chief supporter, and then I saw him call a game.
Look, I'm the patient one. But
Not me.
That glass, boy said, I'm not gonna be here. That glass that was once half full is quickly looking very half empty, my brother. Very half empty.
It's the white rabbit.
Yeah.
With the clock.
Yeah. What Cam say? That's for young play. That's for young play callers, brother. You were a young play caller 11 weeks ago. I seen you. I knows what you can do, brother. Stop playing with me. Like, stop it. And ultimately, it comes down to them, man. It really comes down to, like I said, when a team adjusts, you got to have an answer, man. Because you cannot be the reason. You cannot be the reason that the NFC is
wide open,
pretty winnable.
Wide open.
Like, it's not going to be easy because there's some really good teams out there, but it's winnable. The AFC,
wide open.
I said last year, and then the Chiefs season continued to go on, and I said, wow, what if it was actively the end of a dynasty, end of an era? And to be quite honest with you, we've had dynasties my entire life. I can't remember the NFL without a dynasty. The Cowboys and them were doing their thing, and the Niners and stuff were cooking up when I was first born. Then a couple years later, the Cowboys, the Patriots, they were born. And then right after the Patriots were the Chiefs. And right now, the NFL is in need of someone to take a hold of the throne. And this is a prime opportunity for you guys to take a hold of the throne. So you can't be the reason, brother. You probably never be able to show your face in Philadelphia again if you are the reason, man.
Yeah, so for me, I went 3.5. And it's literally just there's too much. It's because there's too much talent on this offense. And the fact that, like, we've seen them last year struggle through the season, kind of meander through the season. And we've seen them hit that next gear when need be, right? Like, we've seen Jalen operate at an extremely high level as a passer when Saquon got shut down. We've seen Saquon break 30, 40, 50-yard runs, right, in the playoffs.
Jurgens missing blocks.
Listen, bro, let me cook, man. Let me cook, bro. My overall point is we've seen this offense operate at a high level. The only thing that changed is you, Kevin Patullo. Like my boy said a couple seconds ago, you cannot be the reason. Please. You can't be the reason.
Yeah, it'd be hilarious when we get to these points because, like I said a second ago, I'm the patient one. I'm the one that's always optimistic. You guys be ready to burn the house down come Tuesday, and then Thursday come. It's like, you know what? I think I'm back. It's all right. But the only reason I gave him that 0.5 is because of the talent that you mentioned. If it wasn't for the talent, it would have been at a 2. And you're fairly optimistic for a guy that seen 2023 happen. and understand that it don't really matter how talented these guys are. They got to get put in position. It has to. You got to meet them in the middle somewhere. And we've seen the light. The light is
But
that
that's
first
even
that first
that's
half was a good first half.
but that's what I'm about to say. That's even more of the reason why I have this attitude, right? Like even this season, we've seen spurts of this offense operating at a really high level, right? Like the under center play action game, the under center passing game, it works. It's something that they can lean on. The quarterback runs out of empty. It's something they can lean on. It works. Just do it consistently. It's that simple. Press the buttons that work and keep pressing them. Don't go away from it. It's that simple.
I hear you, man. I've gotten to the point where I've just give me 17. If you can get to 17, we can cook. I think that they can allow under 17 on the defensive side of the ball. So just like give yourself a chance. Please stop scoring 10 points a game. Well, 13. 13 is their number.
It's time to let the guys out of their straitjackets. And I kind of harken back to Jalen after the Rams game. We have to get out of this mindset of playing not to lose. The personnel is there. They clearly aren't. That second half tells another story.
I mean, that's why I said the playoffs will be very interesting to see exactly. Because I mean, last year was where I've struggled to figure out how much of that was Kellen Moore just going balls to the wall, and how much of it was Nick saying, "All right, let's open it up a little bit. Let's get we done got to where we trying to get to. Now, in order to get to where we trying to go, we got to open it up." And I do believe that there's a little bit of that here, despite what Kevin Patullo says. There's no switch. We're just trying to figure it out. Like I told you before we got on pod, man. Sometimes he just needs to know when to shut up. I love you, KP. You my dude, man. I don't mean to say it like that, but like sometimes you get yourself in a whole hell of a lot more trouble when you just keep talking. Like some of those sentences today just didn't make sense. But
at all.
Whatever he was saying, I do believe that there's some kind of switch. The problem with, like I've said all year long, trying to play the switch game is like Jalen Hurts said, it ain't gonna get you till it gets you. You can't be sitting here saying, "All right, let's cut it on, y'all," and y'all been pussyfooting around for 4.5 quarters.
And then you go to flip the switch, and the power don't turn on.
Need a generator. That generator was Saquon Barkley last year, but I need somebody to make. I know we got somebody listening that edit. I might can get one of our producers to do this, but I need somebody to make a Cam Jurgens video with the Hulk Hogan music behind it. Every time he miss a block, we got to post that. Saquon Barkley thinks he can get 70. Cam Jurgens. Like, it got to be better, brother. He got to be. All of them got to be better, but him
it starts with him.
He gotta.
You can't get beat at the point of attack as consistently as he does, bro. You can't. And it's like he just gets tossed aside. Like, dog, show some fight, brother, please.
It's like his whiff be so slow too. Like by the time people be in the backfield, he's still in the lean position, looking back. Like, brother, get up. Turn around.
It's like the Mr. Krabs meme. He's like,
yeah, that's a perfect example. Like, brother, I know you're wondering how I ended up in this position right now. Fix it.
Oh man. Well, just before we get out of here, one more topic. The potential opponents for the Eagles. I think they're most likely to play the Packers. Is that right? Rams?
It's either Rams or 49ers. Some odds on who we're going to play. Now, if Chicago loses and we win, then it's the Packers. The Packers are locked into the 7th seed right now.
Okay.
So it's just about figuring out, are we 2 or 3? Now, I don't want to be one of those guys because I'm into speculation or speculating about things I have no information about. But I think after that game and that showing that they seen yesterday, and then I don't think it's a coincidence that you hear the Eagles will be open to resting some of their starters on Sunday now, despite how quote unquote important this game would be.
I mean, I'd like to think Tanner McKee and Tank Bigsby can beat Josh Johnson.
And Mark is still out.
Yeah,
Damn.
Josh Johnson is starting.
Hey, Josh played all right last week, though. I mean, don't get me wrong. Dallas defense was bad, especially they was different when they had Quentin Williams there. I mean, not that different, but different nonetheless. But without him in the lineup, they bad. They bad. They real bad. Like, man, I wanted to shout out to you and I for bringing home the championships in our respective fantasy leagues. But I was so
Oh wait,
close
wait,
to,
wait, wait, wait! I'm a back-to-back champion, brother.
okay,
2 in a row.
excuse me.
2 in a row.
Sorry. Didn't mean to disrespect you like that. Thanks for putting some good mojo in the air. Hopefully somebody else goes 2 in a row.
The best fantasy football GM on this podcast.
Me?
That's me. Back-to-back champions.
That's because I'm not in that league. Anyway, I was highly considering starting Chris Rodriguez until he came on with the what the hell is this? And
did they specify what illness it was?
No. They just said he got sick. And I was like, oh, I guess this makes the decision a lot easier. And boy, was I sitting there like, damn, I really could have started him watching Ja'Cory Cross get married. Like, brother, that run defense is abysmal.
It's
My
bad.
goodness. So who do you think is they say they considering benching some of the starters. Who do you think we actually see?
I think they're gonna try and get Smitty the 34 or 44 yards. Probably the
44.
first half. Yeah, in the first half. I think
you
you rush
have it if
Cam
they didn't
Jurgens.
take away my damn catch.
Yeah. But I think they need to rest Cam Jurgens. He needs to get healthy, or at least somewhat healthy. In terms of who we could see, like I said, Smitty. Don't think we see Jalen. Don't think we see Lane. Maybe Jahan. At least on the offensive side of the ball.
Play.
I think it'll probably be just
Jahan. I thought you said Jahan.
Yeah. Defensively, I'm pretty sure Jahad will get the start. Some Mac McWilliams action. Maybe Jacorian Bennett. I wonder if God, please no. I don't want to see him unless he's a gunner on special teams. Please no. I'm just gonna get DPIs the whole game. But I wonder if Marcus Epps will start. Because I know they did. Did they take Makuba off IR?
I'm not sure.
I know Vic said he could come off IR, but he's not playing ready. Or something like that. Yeah.
I thought I seen something about them opening a window, but then that's why Vic said he wasn't ready. But I could be incorrect about that, so don't quote me.
No. I mean, I think it'll be like, especially like on the at edge, it'll be interesting to see who plays. Like, I do not want Jalen Phillips playing. That scared the living crap out of me seeing him on the field, down on the field. That scared me so much, bro. I was like, no.
Oh no. I seen him down like, well, it was fun while it lasted. Season over.
What about you though? What about you?
I think we could see. We probably won't see AJ. No AJ.
Especially after what was that 2023?
Yeah.
When he played week 18 and got hurt and then missed the wild card. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, that we might not even see Smitty. I might even see. I can see them just saying, you know what? Nah.
I think they give him the option, and it's gonna be one of those. Look, we're gonna try to get you a couple good ones early. If you don't get it by this time, it's over.
Yeah. I wouldn't even risk it though, honestly, bro. Listening to how Washington was talking after that game, like this finna be their Super Bowl, bro. I wouldn't even risk it, dog.
They're gonna pay. They'll see.
It's
They'll
like,
all see.
what did Dan Quinn say? They got to play us in 2 weeks, brother.
Mm-hmm.
Relax.
What are you gonna give? They gonna send the pressure at Tanner McKee. He can't run. Blitz him.
That's okay. You know why? You know why that's okay? It's Tanner McKee is protected by God, the Mormon missile. He's protected.
Tell him, man, he ain't going that mission for nothing.
Come on, bro. But if you had to rank the potential playoff opponents for the Eagles, and we can get back into this kind of more in detail on Thursday, but how would you rank them out of the three?
What is worse and what is best according to the numbers?
One being who you want to face the most, three being who you do not want to see.
I'm not really afraid of any of them, but if I had to put it by matchup, I'd say Packers, 49ers, Rams.
That same way I had it.
It's real close between the Packers and the 49ers, though. Like, I spend most of my days with the 49ers at one. But the Packers, with Jordan Love and all the situations that he got going on, every single last one of their receivers are hurt.
Yeah.
Josh Jacobs, his knees banged up. They got a lot going on right now. And then, of course, defensively, they're not the same team post Micah as they was pre Micah. So, but then you look at San Francisco. I don't know, man. They might do black magic. I might want to stay away from them. Their defense is abysmal and broken up, and their quarterback missed 8 games. They can't keep a skill position player on the field, not named Christian McCaffrey. But they keep winning. Yeah. They keep winning. I don't understand that team. That's a strange football team, brother.
It is. It is. But you know what? We got Vic Fangio.
Yeah, I want him
and that man
use all linebackers now.
Yeah. Yeah. That man has Kyle Shanahan's number. Kyle Shanahan said he sees Vic Fangio in his nightmares.
Boo.
But like I said, we can get more into that on Thursday. Because I'm not gonna say we're not gonna preview the game. Of course, we'll do that. We'll touch on it, but I think it'll be more playoff centric type of episode. Yeah.
So I ain't gotta go full balls to the wall this week. Cool. I can go watch some tape.
Nah. I might even we might even talk a little bit of draft, honestly.
I'm about to say, I thought my man was about to say I might even throw something on the grill. So to say, all right, cool.
But I think this is a good place to end the pod. Thank you to all 48 of you who tapped in. New Year's Eve tomorrow. It'll be New Year's next pod. Yeah. I'm gonna get back active with posting reels and recaps of the pod, and I'm making it one of my New Year's resolutions to get back active writing. So that is like I'm going to get back active writing. I've made a promise to myself. Yeah, I got to
again.
Yeah. But as always, appreciate all of you who tapped into the pod. We'll be back on Thursday to tap into the Eagles Commanders game, as well as some playoff preview stuff. We're going to be back next Tuesday with a special guest, not announcing that yet, but we'll talk more about that in the coming days. It's an old friend. But as always, thank you guys for tuning in. Go Birds.
Go Birds.